What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay Renee, and I am back to talk about Sistas season 5, episode 5. And y'all, let me tell y'all something. I got so prepared and I am so excited about this review because this is the crossover that we needed. Okay, Sisters has been getting a little stale, but with Madam coming on the scene from All the Queen's Men, y'all, I binge watched All the Queen's Men in the last day and a half. That's how amazing that show is. So I am so ready to see Eva on this show for her to revive Sisters because quiet as it's kept and loud as it should be, it needed. But let's get into it, shall we?
Y'all ever want to just say it with your
Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming in with a force. Yes, blessings they are reap and we go.
Y'all ever want to just say it with your chest without saying it with your words? Well, here's your chance to do it. Click the link below or visit www.shayrenee.net and pick the design that fits what you have to say today.
All right, y'all. So I'm going to say this about Eva. This is the biggest thing that I noticed as I was watching All the Queen's Men. And I probably should say this at the end of the episode, but we didn't really get to see much of Eva. But I will say, in watching All of the Queen's Men, I can tell that Tyler Perry did not write the scripts. And I'm glad because Eva is the type of actress that when you are acting with her or you are the opposing actor or actress that's dealing with her, her acting skills are so good that when she's giving you the lines, you can't do this dry ass stalling stuff that you do on these Tyler Perry shows where there's a break or where there's like gaps in the conversation or where there's like a lag or you're waiting to get a response from somebody. I noticed that when those situations occurred on All the Queen's Men, it wasn't with anybody that was she was talking to. Like I noticed in the end of season 2, which we'll get into this, but I just want y'all to see the parallels. I need y'all to watch All the Queen's Men because if you're going to watch Eva cross over into Sisters, you're going to see why she's going to revive this show because Sisters is getting so stale and dead. The storylines are not finishing. If you are acting with Eva, if Tyler Perry, even if he doesn't know what he's doing with these characters, which I'm pretty sure he's getting to the point where he don't know what to do. That's why this shit is dragging the hell out and starting to bore the fuck out of a lot of the fans, which if you watch a lot of the reviews, if you're in a lot of Facebook groups, a lot of people are over watching Sisters because they feel like the storylines are dying out. And I know Tyler Perry feels it because he's starting to reach out to other actors and actresses to promote the show, which he's never had to do in the past. So he knows that Sisters is dying out. So this is the crossover that we needed. So he's going to have to make sure he utilizes his actors and actresses better on Sisters because when you are in a scene with Eva, you can't do this dragging it out stuff because the way she acts is so swift and it's so smooth and it's so real that you have to get your lines out and you have to know what you're doing. And there's no filler scenes with her. It's get to the point. And I need that. And I'm so excited to see that with her. But anyway, y'all, let's get into the episode so we can get to Eva because that was the best part of the episode because the whole episode was filled with stuff being dragged the hell out like we are used to and we're getting over. So the episode starts out where Andy sees Robin talking to a bunch of other lawyers, some of the other partners alongside Gary. Apparently, Hayden has gotten some deal where Gary is going to be, he's the head of some hedge fund or whatever, and it's a collaboration that the law firm is going to undergo. And it's a big opportunity for the law firm that Hayden is kind of put together. And it was a double profit for him because he's really trying to go. He knows that Gary wants to go after Robin, but he wants to look like he's really trying to do something good for the law firm and bring them some big business. So um they explained it as he says he has a client that was looking for a hedge fund. So he called Gary and he recommended Gary should meet Robin since he was the boss to have the firm's best interest at heart. He talks about how the convo will eventually evolve into them talking about Andy. And this is Andy and Hayden obviously talking. So he talks about how the once they start talking about Andy, Andy said, then Andy chimes in and says something bad is going to happen to you, Hayden. And then Hayden says, well, I heard you and Gary hooked up, and I knew y'all would because you don't want to get sued. And Hayden says he's too stupid to realize you're playing him. After this meeting, I'm gonna tell him how bad you playing him. And Andy tells Hayden to go to hell. And Fatima walks over and asks, why is Andy even talking to Hayden? So Hayden walks away and Fatima says, well, what is Gary and Hayden talking about? So here we go, still dragging this out, drawing this out longer than it needs to be. Andy don't even need to be talking to Hayden this long. Can somebody cue Karen up and get the pregnancy, get the results and who the damn baby daddy is? That's what I need to know. This whole dragging it out conversation with Hayden, where now we're creating yet some more drama, where now Hayden, Gary and Robin are now intertwined. So we're creating another level of a story, but we still haven't solved all the other 7 layers of stories that we got going on in the program. Like, why are we creating more scenarios and you haven't solved anything? So this will be yet another thing that's going to drag out forever. The whole Andy and Gary situation. Like, I'm so over it. So Fatima and Andy are talking, and Fatima says, so Gary, wait a minute, let me go back. So Hayden walks away. Fatima says, well, what is Gary and Hayden talking about? And Andy tells her about Hayden setting this whole situation up with Robin or whatever. And so Fatima says, I'm good, but Andy says she needs to talk to Robin and ask if Fatima is okay. Fatima says, I'm good, but Zach is going to talk to Karen tonight. So she tells her about the whole situation with Karen, how Karen's mother wants Aaron and Zach to come over there to talk. And she, blah, blah, blah. And she even invited Fatima to come over. Fatima says she's not going. Andy says that's not a good idea for her to go either. Whatever. Okay, so moving on. They're trying to figure out why the hell Robin and Gary are even talking to each other and what's going to come of it, because Hayden said that this eventually is going to evolve into a conversation of them talking about Andy, and Andy obviously wants to prevent that. Okay, so moving on, Robin and Gary are in his office, and Gary sticks around because he wants to talk to Robin, obviously. And he's like, hey, it's great to get to know you, and we're obviously going to have to be working together. This is Gary talking to Robin, saying, we're obviously going to have to work together, so we need to get to know each other, and blase, blase, woo, woo, woo. And then he starts to ask him about Andy. And Gary basically tries to punk Robin out of being with Andy, saying, you need to basically leave her alone. And Robin is like, well, I don't see a ring on her finger, so what's it to you? And so Gary is like, it'll be back on her finger. And Robin is like, well, listen, she's a grown-ass woman. Whatever she wants to do, she can do whatever she wants to do. You're not the boss of her, and you can't control her. And frankly, you don't control me either. But I think it's best that everything goes through Hayden at this point, because you and I really don't need to be having no conversations. So Gary insists on trying to punk Robin, and Robin is not taking any of his advances seriously. He's looking at him like, all right, are you done? Can you get the hell out of my law firm? Because, I own this shit, and I got way more money than you. So, and I'm not scared of you. So what else is going on, little man? Can you get the hell out of my office? Because if I want to fuck Andy, I can fuck Andy whenever I want to. And period. So bye. Goodbye. So he kicks Gary up out of his office, and Gary goes over, and eventually he's talking to Hayden. Okay. So in the next scene, Danny calls Andy about Sabrina, and Andy has no update. Danny is rushing her to talk to Robin. Wasted scene, in my opinion. Okay, I don't even know why the scene with Danny and Andy talking on the phone even needed to happen. Like, it was a waste of time. It was dead air. Like, you need to go to something else, Tyler Perry. Solve the problems. Stop giving us these wasted ass scenes. Danny did not need to call Andy again asking about Sabrina. Why are we doing this? I'm sick of it. Okay. Moving on. Q and Danny, another wasted ass scene. Okay. You're not doing anything to make her aware of who he is. They're waste talking about some, oh yeah, and he flirting with Danny and Danny not taking his advances. He really not trying to do no work. Moving on. He talking about he just there so he can stay out of jail. He has a felony. Blah blah blah. Don't nobody care. Another wasted scene that we didn't need. Moving on. Gary walks into Andy's office and she asks him how did his meeting with Robin go. He says it went well and asked her to go to dinner with him. She says she's dealing with so many other things right now, basically the whole Sabrina situation. So she don't really know if she's gonna be able to go to dinner with him. So he's like, are you going out? What are you going to be hanging out with him? That's why you can't go to dinner with me. She's like, no, I have bigger fish to fry. Like I have a lot of things going on right now. I just don't have time. He's like, well, okay, well, please, you said you were going to talk to me later. Can I just talk to you later? And she's like, okay, I'll talk to you later. I got to go and talk to Robin right now. And so she goes into Robin's office and Gary leaves. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was a waste of a scene too, because I don't need to see her talking to Gary and Gary being jealous all over again. It's the same stuff over and over again. Like, who gives a damn? So moving on. Andy goes into Robin's office, and this whole scene right here was something that was very jarring to me. And so Andy goes into Robin's office. He's very standoffish and basically giving her the cold shoulder. And she says she thought he was in London. And he said, well, no, I'm not. And I have to tell you everywhere I'm at? Like, what do you want, basically? And so Andy is looking at him like, wow, I never really had him talking to me like this. And he really is not acting like he gives a damn that I'm in this office right now. So Andy asked him for, help with Sabrina. And he's basically like, so what does she do? What's the problem? So she tells him about Sabrina and them accusing her and Maurice of robbing the bank and how she's innocent and all this, that, and the third. So Robin goes on to say, well, you seem to ask a lot of favors. Like, what is your problem? Why is it I'm always having to do things for you? And I've heard about your reputation around here. Like, are you know what? I gotta ask you a question. What is your status? Like, do you have anything? Like, basically asking her, does she have any STDs? And I'm like, hold on, let me put the pause on you, sir. That was just a little bit uncalled for. If you don't want to help her with the whole situation with Sabrina because you're tired of her constantly asking you for stuff, that's one thing. But then to go leap from that conversation to now asking her if she has STDs, that's an issue. I feel like he's just jealous or he's pissed off about the whole Gary situation. And he probably knows that she slept with Gary. Because for Gary to be coming in there with his chest all pumped out like he was doing, he don't want to be in competition with nobody. So then apparently Robin found out about Andy sleeping with the janitor that works in the building too. Which I'm like, you sitting there judging this lady for sleeping with this guy, but you just had a whole threesome with her. And Lord knows, what was that woman's career? Do she got to be a CEO of a company for you to have sex with her? Like, I don't understand. Like, she could have been some normal sex worker or some random chick. Like, don't act like you just out here only sticking your dick in bad bras. Don't do that. Or bras that got their head on their shoulders. Because if they had their head all the way on their shoulders straight, they wouldn't be having no threesome with your dumb ass. I don't know. I didn't like that about Robin. I felt he got a little bit too big for his britches and arrogant. And he was treating Andy like she was just some bum bitch that he had sex with that he read wrong. Like he thought she was just this amazing chick. And now that somehow because she slept with a janitor, she's trash. Which I'm like, it's nothing wrong with that dude. And him and his mother own a business, like a whole cleaning business. So, and that don't have nothing to do with you. Don't worry about who I'm sleeping with. But also on the other hand, Andy is playing Robin. Andy is playing games with him. She wants to use him for whatever she wants to use him for, to help her with her friends and getting people out of jail and all this, that, and the third. And he's her boss, which she's forgetting. And then you go and sleep with Gary. Like, you toying with Robin, and he sees right through your BS, sis. He's not going to play these little games with you because he's a rich man and he has his whole, he got his himself established. He don't need you. You're dispendable. Okay? He doesn't need expendable. He doesn't need you. So Andy walks around like she's big shit. And he just tossed her away like yesterday's trash with no problem. And I kind of felt bad for her because her little feelings was hurt. She walked out of there, they talked about each other's status, and since she butt hurt, she wanna ask him what's his status. He's like, oh, you don't need to ask me my status. You should already know. Because I don't play those types of games, or whatever the case may be. So then Andy gets up, she's getting ready to walk out. Then he says, yeah, wait a minute, come back. Then he says, your case files, you need to do a better job at your job. Basically, now he's poking holes in her work. So I'm like, damn, Andy, them suits that you be wearing with the low cut boobs, you might want to go ahead and old lady it up for a while, because he getting the wrong impression of you. I don't know. Andy's reputation is not looking good. And Robin is basically looking at her like, wow, I'm meeting Gary and he's a piece of shit. And this is the guy that you can't let go of. Like, you slept with a janitor, then you messing with this dude, allowing him to toy with your emotions and play around with you, and you can't seem to let him go. Why would I ever want to be interested in a woman like that? And in that regard, I agree with them. I'm sorry. It's a lot of people that's probably not going to agree with me, but if I'm a man and I see that a woman is weak like that, but you walking around here acting like you the shit, yeah, you're going to be on my checking and regretted list too. It is what it is. So moving on, Gary and Hayden had a conversation. They all in the hallway conspiring, talking about trying to bankrupt Robin. So Hayden is talking about this diabolical plan to take over the law firm and get Robin out of there. And Gary is like, while that's all fine and dandy, I'm still a professional. Like, this is my business. Like, if it works out that way, great. But if it doesn't, I'm cool with that too. This is still business. I'm not trying to ruin my business reputation, trying to take this man down. And then Hayden goes into the spiral about getting Zach. And Gary is like, dude, what is your issue with Zach? Like, why do you have such a hard on for this dude? And he's like, I just don't like him. I don't like him. He's like, no, what's the real reason? He's like, man, Fatima. He's like, well, I went out with her one time, she was sweating me and stuff, and I wasn't thinking about her. But now, I want her. So I want to get rid of him or whatever. And so he's trying to get Gary to do all this stuff to kind of get Zach caught up. And Gary was like, yeah, man, I'll help you out. And then he finally was like, you know what? I'm not doing any of that. I'm not getting involved in any of your bullshit, because what you trying to have me do is going to have me lose my business and my livelihood. And I'm not willing to do all of that just to help you do some diabolical bullshit over somebody that don't want you anyway. Because my thing is, even if Hayden does all this bad stuff to Zach, even kill him, you're not going to have Fatima. She doesn't want you. And you might want to leave her alone if you know what's good for you, because you find out that Madam is her cousin, you gonna get worse than getting thrown on a car naked. Okay. So moving on, Karen comes out of her room and Lisa, her mom, asks how she feels about the letters that she wrote. So she says she feels as good as she can feel. So Lisa asks her if she's nervous, and Karen says yes, and asks if Zach is bringing Fatima. So Karen all butthurt and worried about Zach and Fatima still. Girl, get over it. He doesn't want you. Even if Fatima came, so what? So what? You're not going to be with Zach. Let the ship sail. So anyway, Erin, she shows Karen her baby photos and tells Karen to never lose sight of her inner joy, which much like was shown in the photos in the album. And Karen says, I just hope I'll be as good of a mom as you. And Lisa says, no, you're going to be good. I just pray I'll be here to help you with your kid, or whatever the case may be. So Erin arrives to the meeting first, and Karen looks almost annoyed that he's there. And I just don't understand her. You have a good dude, but you want to sit up here and treat him like crap. Now, Erin is a little bit of a bugaboo. I will say that. And I think that he gives her more than what she deserves, as far as the energy that he gives her, trying to be there for her, trying to be with her, trying to dote upon her, and she doesn't want it. So my thing is, when you're trying to, I guess, woo somebody into a relationship, if your advances are not being received, then you got to go ahead and learn how to just cut ties and let the shit go, because Karen does not appreciate, nor does she deserve what Aaron is trying to give. Okay. So this little net, y'all. So she's that he talks and sitting down and checking in on her and whatnot. And Karen says she's okay. She's been resting and writing letters to him and Zach. And Aaron says, "Oh wow, I'm nervous now. Like, what are these letters about?" And so Lisa offers Aaron a drink and takes it back and says, "Oh, my bad. I forgot you're a preacher." She said, "Wait a minute." And he was like, "Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about it." And then she's like, "Wait, you're a preacher, but you having sex? What's going on?" So Miss Lisa is just bringing up the double fallacies that Aaron represents. So you're not drinking, but you out here having sex. Well, pick your poison, pick your battles, and you a preacher. I don't get it. So Lisa was just as confused as the rest of the audience, and Aaron seemed a little confused his daggone self. And he's like, "Well, it's just a little complicated." So Karen, so then she says, "Karen, you sure know how to pick him. He's handsome, but too old for me. I like him 32 and younger." I was like, "Oh my God, I know that's right, Miss Lisa. You up in here trying to rob the cradle." But then Zach comes in. So Karen looks all nervous and flustered because Zach is there. And Zach is basically just like, "Listen, let's just get this shit over with because I'm ready to get the fuck up on out of here." So, no, I'm sorry. I skipped something because I didn't write all the notes from the show. Something is missing here. So apparently, I think this is where Fatima goes into the office and Andy, this is the next scene. So Zach is not at Karen's yet. So Fatima goes in the office to check in on Andy, and Andy is crying and upset. And she basically lets it all out and tells Fatima, "I feel I'm hurt. Robin just treated me real bad. He basically was like acting like I'm some hoe out here. And, you know, he regrets the day that he ever met me," type stuff. And so Fatima was like, "Damn, that's messed up." And then she's like, "And I feel like a horrible friend because now that he won't help me, I can't figure out I can't help Sabrina. I can't help get her out of jail. So I don't know what to do." So Fatima says, "I think I can help you with Sabrina." And so she tells her about her cousin that's coming over. She's like, "Listen, just come over. You can talk to my cousin and you'll get introduced to my family and we'll go from there." So they go to the house, and Sabrina, I mean, not Sabrina, we haven't seen Sabrina damn yet, which is another story that needs to be finalized. But they go to Fatima and Zach's house. Zach is getting ready to leave out to go meet Karen. So he's kissing her, filling up on her booty and all this stuff. So they sit down and talk. So Zach leaves out. Andy is sitting down talking to Fatima, and then Angela comes in. So she gets to meet Angela. Angela is obviously, if y'all have watched Zatima, Angela is one of Fatima's friends. So there's Belinda and Angela that are her two closest friends. Belinda slept with Zach way back in the day. This is before Fatima knew her. And so Belinda tried to sleep with Zach again on Zatima, saying that she wanted to just make sure Fatima knew that he was a hoe or whatever. And Zach rejected her advances. So now Belinda and Fatima are not really friends anymore. So that's why Angela is the only friend that's over there. And then, of course, Madam, which is Eva Marcille from All the Queen's Men, it's revealed that she is in fact Fatima's cousin. So she's the cousin that's going to be coming over. Now let's talk about Madam, y'all. Madam is a true gangster with a capital G. Okay? This bitch shot up a whole halfway house. Okay? And most of the people, so y'all, it was just one scene on All the Queen's Men, and this is so bad, but it's so good. She comes in there, mind you. So her nephew that she had taken under her wing, one of his little friends came and stole money from her at the strip club. Madam owns a strip club called Eden, okay, and it's all men. It's male strippers, so she caters to female patrons, okay. So one of her nephew Amp's little, he's not really his friend, but one of the other dudes that was in the halfway house, he was thirsty to get money. So he comes in there and attacks Dime, which is one of the people that works for Madam, and he throws her into a wall, and then he sees the money in Madam's office come out of the wall, which is where she had all her money hidden, even though Madam's henchman Blue kept telling her, gotta get the money out of here because this isn't right, I don't feel right, something gonna happen. So that happens. The dude stole $10 million from her. So she finds out that he stole the money from her. From, you know, Dime ends up waking up and telling her that he stole the money, telling Madam. Madam goes to the halfway house. There is a bunch of men sitting on the main level. She's asking them, where is Red? Because Red is the guy that stole the money. They're all like responding like they don't know because they can't hear her. They're deaf. So she thinks that they're just covering for Red and not telling them what's going on. She begins to shoot everybody in the room. She gets down to the last person and he's pointing to his ear like, I'm wearing a hearing aid, I can't hear you. And she shoots him and Blue says, Madam, they're all deaf. That's why they couldn't respond to you. And she's like, I don't give a fuck. I was like, damn. That's how I knew that Eva, Madam's character, she is a fucking savage. So then she goes upstairs and finds Red. She shoot him in both the kneecaps so he can tell her where the money is, because somebody stole the money from him, the head of the halfway house. He stole the money from him, Bill. So he really don't know where the money is. He's like, Bill has the money. He ended up telling her Bill has it. But she's like, I don't give a damn. You stole my money and you don't have it. And you can't tell me where Bill is. So I'm going to go ahead and take care of you right now. So she has a bomb, puts it between his legs, and blows up the whole halfway house. I said, this lady right here, she is ruthless. Then in another scene, somebody else that owed her money, she puts him in a cage naked, and while she's swimming around in her pool, keep dunking him down in the water for 4 to 5 minutes at a time, then brings him back up saying, where's my money? When you gonna give me my money? And this is what happens when you don't give me my money. And he's like, I can go get your money right now. She's like, you've been saying that. You've been saying you're gonna give me my money and you haven't. And she would tell her guy Tommy, put him back down there for 4 minutes. I was like, ooh. Then when she found Bill that had the $10 million, she figured he told her where it went, but then she dunked him in acid. So I'm saying all this to say, Hayden, you might want to stop messing with Fatima. Because Madam don't play that. And she don't play with nobody messing around with her family either. Okay, even though she accidentally shot her nephew and thought he stole from her and then she was going to kill him. But that's another damn story. This lady does not play with her money. Okay? And she don't play with nobody fucking around with her. And when I tell y'all her acting is impeccable. I see acting as a Housewives what? Eva is an amazing actress. I'm telling you, Housewives ain't got shit on her acting skills, okay? She don't need the Real Housewives of Atlanta no more. That's probably the best thing that ever happened to her, getting kicked off that show and her going into acting. Eva is a natural. She is a natural born actress. So to see her come on this show, I love how as soon as she came on the scene, she came in there, she's like, she was like, yeah, everybody calls me Madam. So she comes in, she shakes Andy's hand. Andy is so excited to see her. Like, you got this well put together, well-dressed woman. She walks like a boss, talks like a boss. So she's like, what's going on? What y'all need? Why am I here? Type of stuff. And so Andy beating around the bush type of stuff. And Eva is like, get to it. Like, I don't have time to play. And I love that about her character, because her character is going to speed these storylines along. And I can't wait to see them go over to Deja's house. I saw the preview of them going over to Deja's house, and you know, Eva owns a strip club. So Deja is a stripper. So I can imagine all of them know her in that world. And y'all, if y'all watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, it was interesting because Bolo is actually a main character on All the Queen's Men. So I'm like, okay, Bolo coming out of getting up out the strip club for the most part to be in a syndicated show. Okay, on BT Plus and a show that's been picked up, a great show at that. So, y'all, I'm excited for Eva to be on this show. So, the last scene is Zach obviously going over to Karen's house, and they drag that whole thing out about, are you hungry? Do you want to eat? I'm just like, Tyler, sit him the fuck down and read the damn letters. This whole episode was full of bullshit, except Madam. Like, Madam coming on to this show, I want her to be in every scene to speed these storylines along. That's what I want her to do. Because you can't act in a scene with Eva and do all that dead air shit where they be like, I know, right, yeah, and yeah, okay, doing all of that stuff. You can tell it's a bunch of novice actors that come and into Tyler Perry Studios. But when you have an experience, I don't even know if Eva is experienced or if she's just a natural born actress. You can't be acting in a scene with somebody like her and drag shit out, because even on her show, I'm telling y'all, you got to watch All the Queen's Men. If you watch Tyler Perry shows and then you watch that, you can appreciate that show so much better, because there'll be scenes where people are like maybe forgetting their lines or they dragging the scene out, and she's like, what is going on? What happened? Tell me, speak up now. You don't have nothing to say? All right, bye, moving on. Like, she's not about to be having dead air scenes with her. That's how great she is. And that's how, you know, in the Tyler Perry movies, he could never have Angela Bassett like he's had in his movies, or a big name actor or actress, right? Like Taraji P. Henson on one of his shows, because they're good actresses. So you have to have a storyline that's going to build up to the climax. You get all of the scenes and all the information, and then it rolls through. The scenes and everything solve themselves. The storyline moves along. You can't have real actors and real actresses in shows and drag out scenes, because they're experienced and they go off of the content. So if the content is stale and dry and there's no means to an end to some of these storylines, they would not be on his show, because they would be like, yeah, I can't do this because I actually know how to act. So I'm not about to be being dry in scenes or dragging shit out. That ain't gonna work for them. They would read the Tyler Perry script for the season and be like, yeah, I'm not doing this. It's not worth me, because these dry, lagged out scenes, these points that are not getting, you're not getting to the point. Yeah, no, I'm good. I would never see a big name actor or actress on any of his series, period. But y'all, I'm excited about Madam. Most of the time, I don't really like a lot of Tyler Perry's crossovers, because it's like he writes the same show 4 and 5 different times. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like some of his other shows that he had, like the Haves and the Have Nots, and there's this other show. Like, I'm seeing some of the material repeat itself in some of his other in some of his shows, and it's like, I get it. You got all these characters in your head and all these different things, but maybe he needs to dial it back a little bit, or get some writers, get some people. You can't write every single show and it be good. It's because it's starting, this his slip is starting to show with Sistas. Sistas is a very successful show, but it's going to start to prove to be otherwise if he doesn't get it together and get some writers on these shows, because the storylines are suffering. And as much as we love, I think because Tyler Perry is who he is and he exudes such Black excellence, everybody wants to support him. But where does it get to a point where the talent has to be worthy of the support? We can't just support you just because you're Tyler Perry. You have to live up to the standard that people are looking for. And people frankly, people are tired of getting shit ass product. You have to create stories that people want to actually watch. You have to create storylines that end up having a resolution and not something that's dragged out. Karen don't need to be pregnant for 5 seasons. Like you got to get it together. You got to start introducing the drama, solving it, bringing up another story. That's how it's supposed to go. Zatima is a perfect example of how it was well written. The dialogue was there, the content was there, nothing was extremely dragged out. We got resolution in most of the things right away, and the show was good. So maybe we shouldn't have shows coming back too fast where you got to rush the scenes and the storylines. Give it some time to be off air so that you can really give some well thought out scenes and drama. Because there's so much that's unsolved on Sistas right now. It's crazy. But y'all, that's all I got to say about Sistas. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that's watching Sistas. And let me know down in the comments below if you are excited to see Eva on Sistas. Like, I cannot wait to see how much she's going to be on this show and what capacity. I want her role to be big. Like, I need her to change the show around. I need her to improve these people's acting skills. I need her to help improve Tyler Perry's writing skills. I feel like he wrote a lot on that second season of All the Queen's Men because some of the scenes were kind of dragged out. And I can see where I think the guy's name is Christian Walker. Don't get me the line. Let me look it up because I don't want to be lying to y'all. Creator of All the Queen's Men. I think he's the guy that created it. He's actually an actor as well. Christian Keys. Okay, he's the one that created it. And I think he's the writer of the show too. I think Tyler Perry is just executive producing, but I feel like he must have got some advice from Tyler Perry for that second season because some of them scenes was a little dragged out, but still great content. Okay. It wasn't too much where it was dragged out, but nevertheless, don't seek too much advice as far as the writing from Tyler Perry. Christian, you go ahead and do what you was doing. You doing a very good job. Season 1 was excellent. Season 2, it was good. But I could tell you got a little consulting on that. That wasn't all the same person that did season 2 they didn't do it by themselves. Like they did season 1. So I'm excited for All the Queen's Men season 3 to start whenever it gets started. Take your time to make it good because I don't want no rush stuff. And if you got to hurry up, most of the time when you rush stuff, it ain't going to be good. So take your time. I'd rather people take their time and come back with something that's going to be amazing and great to watch. But anyway, y'all, let me get on up out of here. Thank y'all for watching. And I will see you. Hit that notification bell so you can know when I come back on. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out.